Right. Stephen, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Welcome to our podcast.
Thanks, Victor. What kind of podcast is this?
Well, this is for Godspeed Media.
Okay.
We interview digital nomads and digital leaders.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Cool.
As you know, we are a digital marketing firm, and we help brands become successful.
Okay.
Right. So we know each other through a mutual friend. In fact, I don't know if you know this guy. His name is Federico.
Okay.
He lives in Los Angeles. And he told me, you know what, there's a friend of mine, a girlfriend, who knows another friend who is moving to Mexico City. And he wants to meet some new friends.
Right, yeah.
So I spoke to this woman. Hi, how's it going? Hey, how's it going, Victor? I have a friend who just moved in. She used to work in UN.
Yep, at the UN, yeah.
And she said, I have a friend who wants to meet other people, and Federico recommended you, and so if you guys want to hook up, have a good time together, right?
Sure, yeah.
And you came to my house.
That was a long time ago.
That was 2021.
Wow.
After the pandemic.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How you been? What are you up to nowadays?
What am I up to nowadays? So I have a practice, a company called Message Design. Message Design is a practice that works with wellness coaches. So anybody in the wellness business. So if you are a physical fitness trainer, if you are a mental health specialist, if you work on nutrition, if you work on, healing, other parts of your body, those kinds of things, anything that in the wellness sector, I work with those people and I help them to build a funnel, for lack of a better term, that helps them to grow their business. But the specific piece about the funnel is it's not, ebooks. It's not your traditional marketing. It actually uses education. So it uses a series of 5 different types of educational courses to bring to attract your audience, to start to bring them into a funnel, to offer them basically a ladder up into what you would consider your gold ticket service as a coach. And that gold ticket service is usually one-on-one coaching. That's usually what happens, either if it's a personal trainer taking them to a gym, or an hourly session once a week or twice a month or something like that. And so my process is the way that I couch it for people, the way that I put it out there, is that most wellness coaches want to work on their practice.
Right.
They want to work with their clients. They want to work on their business. And what they're not really interested in doing is learning new technology, building out content and putting it on a learning platform, building out marketing funnels, emails, SMSs, follow-ups, those kinds of things.
It's just a fact, right? It's hectic. It's
not only hectic. It's complex.
It's complex.
And most of the people that I've met from the wellness industry, this isn't a dig, but they're just not tech savvy. Right? They haven't focused their lives on technology. I happen to be lucky that for the last almost 25 years now, I've been working in the tech space and the marketing space, like the digital marketing space. And so this is what I've been doing. On top of that, since 2015, I've actually been in the online education sector specifically. And so combining both of those pieces, I've come up with this process. And ultimately, my pitch, the offer that I have for people and that are wellness coaches is that, if you're a non-tech savvy wellness coach, let me build all this for you. All you have to do is bring your message, bring your focus and bring your content. And
that's super
we
interesting.
build it all out for you. Yeah.
How did you figure out that this was a problem that you needed to solve through this specific website? I understand that you have lots of experience, and it seems to me like you're a very, very disciplined man, that you learn things, you work out a lot. I know that you're running your own YouTube channel. So how did you find this niche, and why are you so interested in solving this issue for them?
So like I said, I've been in the online education business since 2015 in that sector, and I've worked with higher education institutions, I've worked with corporations, small businesses, individuals, etc. And I've especially focused over the last, let's say, year, working on a digital platform that focuses very much on individuals. And I've literally have spoken with no less than 1,000 people who have come through this platform to and they come and they're eager, they're ready. They say, look, I want to put, my ideas online. I want to build a course because either that's how they want to, they think that's important for their business or their practice or whatever. And I have watched them fail, right? And I hate to say it that way, but I've watched them fail because they are good at what they do, which is stress and anxiety relief or nutrition coaching or whatever. But what they're not good at or they're not prepared for is the type of work and extra effort they're going to have to put in order to, like I said, create follow-up emails, create nurture sequences, to take content, put it online, and then put it into a format that makes sense, and then to understand how online education works. How is it effective, right? How to build effective education.
Now, let me understand this. You are a digital marketer, entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. How did you get into this space? Because they're different professions. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're architects, they're engineers. Mm-hmm. How did you end up in the digital marketing space? I know we're talking about a specific niche, but how did you end up here?
But like so many other people in the world, I ended up here on accident. The honest answer is because I decided to marry a woman who works for a very large international organization, and because of that, we move around the world.
Right.
We took the choice as a partnership to follow her career, and so I needed to be able to do something that was very flexible.
Right.
And luckily, the internet. I'm old enough to be able to say the interwebs, right? Provided that opportunity. Like I've been a digital nomad since 2005.
Wow.
Right. So
there nobody
even. There was no. Yeah, Facebook didn't exist. YouTube didn't exist.
How did you manage to?
Right. So so back in the days when you used things like Skype, when you used like Dropbox was like literally this nascent little thing where you had to like download a package. Well, yeah, but it's really popular now. But like back then, you had to like install it on your computer, and then it would sync, your computer, like all these. So I'm literally an OG when it comes to what it means to be when you think about a digital nomad. And I worked in a different sector called the humanitarian aid and development sector for 15 years.
Right.
But as you said, I'm a classic entrepreneur. I've always got my hands in different pots. And around 2014, 2013, I started taking stabs at how do you actually just make money through websites, through online marketing, through those kinds of things. Had 4 or 5 spectacular failures. And then in 2015, I actually purchased a company, a small website it was called Moodle News at the time. Mm-hmm. And this was a company that talked about online education for a specific technology platform.
Right.
Another gentleman had started it. It was kind of like a fanboy blog kind of thing that was talking about this technology. He followed the updates and, he had built a nice community, but he was kind of tired of running it, so he sold it to me.
If you don't mind, how much did you buy it for? It's disclosed? No, it's fine.
No, I bought it for a song. Let's just say that. I bought it for very cheap, right? But here's the coolest thing. This is one of the things that you don't see in life is that, so I bought it from him, and then I redid the website because that technology was my, that was a background that I had come from. Right. So I rebuilt it, I revamped it, I made it look nicer, I tripled the ad space that was on it, and this is like traditional ads, right? So not like Google ad networks or Mediavine or Ezoic or like anything. This is like way back in the day when that stuff didn't even really exist and banner ads were still a thing.
Wow.
So, and we actually had relationships with bunches of companies that were in the online education space.
But it was pure PPC?
This is like
before that.
Hey, yeah, you're going to buy a banner and you're just going to pay me $200 a month to keep that ad there.
Oh, wow.
That kind of stuff, right?
Okay, cool.
This is before traffic was even really a thing. This is before Google Analytics was really...
So basically you had a network of people and you would offer a space, and on your website you would prove that you had certain traffic. And
exactly. And they would get clicks and so... I had looked at it and said, look, I kind of put it on autopilot. I hired a guy to help me, write the content for the site, and it kind of just was on autopilot for 3 or 4 years. Really, it worked really, really well. It was a nice side hustle, brought in some nice little income, and then the pandemic happened, right? So 2 things happened at the same time. One, I sold a consulting company that I had in 2018.
Right.
Right. So that was my big venture, and I ran that, like I said, for about 15 years, and I sold it in 2018 to a larger company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found myself in a place where I needed to pivot. I needed something to do, right? Because I didn't make FU money, right? I didn't make the I can't work anymore money, but it was the right thing to do. I sold the company, right?
Now, before we dig into the pivoting, how did you feel? Just let me know, how did you feel when you received that check or that deposit from selling that company? Did it feel good? How do you feel? Just explain to me that feeling.
So actually, I almost didn't sell the company.
Wow.
Because there was no, 7-figure check associated with it, right?
Okay.
There was a nice 6-figure check with it, but there was no 7-figure check associated with it, right?
Got it.
And so, and quite honestly, like it was the right, everything about it was the right move, right? I had employees that were going to go get better jobs, upgraded jobs at this bigger company. They all were going to get bumps in salaries, better benefit packages, bigger opportunities.
Got it.
So for all of them, it was an absolutely fantastic move. For me, I became a director at that company for a little while as a part of the earnout. We had a 2-year earnout process that we went through. And so overall, it was a really great deal. But, when we were looking at the deal, I was like, wait a second, you're supposed to sell a company, and after all this hard work, you're supposed to
retire something.
Yeah, not have to worry about it, right? But consulting companies are notoriously hard to sell, first of all, because you're only as good as your next gig, right? Like, I didn't have a product, and
did you bootstrap that company?
I did.
Cool.
I literally built it, literally from my back pocket.
So
I was employee number one. But so let me round out. So the critical thing was, I sat down with my wife, and she could tell I was kind of struggling with this, and we just went through everything, and there was a list of 100 questions. You're like, so why are we doing this? And the only question that wasn't a green light was, you're not getting a big 7-8-figure check for this. But everything else, it'll reduce your stress, it'll take away anxiety, you no longer have to worry about this thing, blah 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 blah. Everybody you work with is all getting a huge lift up. It's a huge win for everyone, including me. I didn't do bad, and that was the only thing, right? And so when I took a deep breath and looked, I said, this is a no-brainer, because we're comfortable, we're fine, we've got everything we need. So then I just never thought about it twice after that.
Ka-ching.
So that's how the pivot happened. That's how the thing happened. So yeah.
I guess more than the amount, it was the other benefits that you had in place, and that gave you the opportunity to pivot to other businesses.
Sure, right? and it's as I've now we're here 2024, looking at 2025. So we're 6-7 years into this, right? And I've learned a lot about it's I don't want to say they're rare, but it's not, we hear about these unicorns all the time, like the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. They build Facebook, and now he's the third richest person, all that kind of, that's an extraordinarily rare person.
Yeah.
And when you hear about exits from people, there's a lot of things that you need to consider in terms of, okay, so if I built a company, but then I brought investors in, and, we had, all of those people are a part of the pie now. It's what is your actual slice of the pie for selling it? So, if you hear about a company being sold for $100 million, what's the actual slice? And then there's taxes, and then there's earn-out criteria. There's all kinds of things. So I've met many founders who've exited, and they're like, look, it was the right idea, I did it, but now I've got to go do another one, because life isn't over, right?
Of course. Super cool story. Definitely inspiring. I met you a few years ago as we were talking about this. And from the get-go, I noticed you had this very different way of thinking. I noticed that you are able to process data, information, and tasks very productively. I noticed that you are also a man who feels comfortable with delegating most of his work. Probably you focus on other things, of course, like strategizing or selling, of course, right?
Yeah.
So I guess now with this new company, what are you expecting in terms of revenue in the following years? What are you expecting in terms of growth? What are you expecting of this new venture?
So it's like any new venture, right? I mean, I'm bootstrapping it. I'm starting by myself. I have every expectation it'll be a 6-figure business before the end of this year. With the expectation I will be able to grow it into a 7-figure business within a year. I'm working with a couple of other people who have built similar businesses, who have built similar processes, or use a similar process to build a business like this, and they have very great success. And so I'm highly confident that we'll be able to do that. Right now in my life, though, that's really kind of where I want to be. My sweet spot is I really like working with people, right? And so my goal will be to build out a few clients, refine my process, make sure that the process is really something else, and then, as you just said, we'll codify it. We'll put it into SOPs, we'll put it into playbooks. And
systemize the business.
Yeah, we'll systemize it, because that's how I counsel everybody, right? That's what I counsel everybody who's an entrepreneur to start systematizing immediately.
Yeah.
Or as soon as you can. And so I would expect by the middle of next year to have a completely systematized playbook about how this business works. I will probably have a small team that works with me in terms of working with different clients on different places, but I really enjoy working with humans, right? And that's where I get my joy. That's where I get that's my sweet spot. And so I'll continue to do that. That's one of my favorite things to do. So.
That's awesome, Stephen. I really appreciate you telling me more about this new venture. There are many entrepreneurs that we work with that have an idea and they probably don't know how to start, or there are other people who have a business and they feel kind of stuck. In your experience, how would you attract new clients to help you grow your business? How would you what would you tell them, like if they're stuck or they have an idea, they don't know how to develop it, right?
Well, those are two different questions: attracting clients and developing the idea. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have an idea, or so you actually have a product or a service that you are confident that you know how to deliver, and that adds value to either a person or a business or something like that, attracting clients, again, it's really, you have to choose the channel that you're going to work with. Right? And so you have the ability you can go buy a channel. So you could go buy, for instance, a marketing list, like an email list, and you could start marketing to that list. Or you could go buy, a group of followers for like a Facebook group or something like that, and start marketing to that.
Right.
You can borrow an audience, so you can, attach yourself to LinkedIn groups and, other podcasters and whatnot, and, sort of fish in there and try to, kind of work that out. Or you can create it yourself, and that is just like what you're doing here. Like, you can create a podcast, you can create a LinkedIn group, you can create a Facebook group, you can start building a marketing list, you can use ads to bring people into a funnel.
Right.
You have to choose one of those, and you have to choose the channel that you feel the most comfortable in. Maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe that's Twitter, maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's actually going around and knocking on doors, right? Like that's a real thing. Maybe it's going to conferences, right? Maybe you're whatever particular industry that you're in. There's 3 or 4 conferences a year, a big conference that you go.
Right.
So there's no one way to do it right. There's no one way to attract clients. The thing is that you have to be able to present them with an offer, an offer honestly that just seems too good to be true, and then deliver on that offer. And those are the, finding what audience you want and choosing what channel you want. It's really up to you to choose that as an entrepreneur. And then, ultimately, what I find a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is they try to do too many things rather than staying really focused on that one. Yeah.
The one thing, right?
It's the one thing, but then it's also being able to stick it out for a long time, right? Because nothing happens overnight.
Yeah.
And anybody who tells you that it does is lying to you. And it's hard work every day. Even when you have that webinar that's a huge success, or even when you get those first 3 or 4 clients, guess what? You just got to work that much harder to get to the next ones.
Yeah.
Well,
most businesses fail after 2 years, right? Why do you think that happens? We hear that all the time online or in books, but why do you think that happens?
I think it happens mostly. I really don't know. I bet you there's some really great stats from those things in those same books about why it does. But I would, in my opinion, it's just like the coaches that we're talking about that I'm bringing into my practice right now. It's not really realizing how much work it is. It's not really it's being too scattered and not focused enough.
Right.
It's not being willing to pivot enough. Pivot when you see a mistake or you see something that isn't working.
Right.
Being able to move quickly.
Right.
It's not offering a product that the market really actually wants or needs.
And
agree. Here's a great one for you right now. And I'm not sure if this is. I think it's extremely relevant to this conversation. Are you familiar with the AI product called Humane? Have you heard of this?
No, I'd love to learn.
So you can look it up afterwards, right?
Got it.
Humane created a product that's very much like this thing that you're wearing or I'm wearing, except it's an AI device.
A dock?
Right? What?
Like a dock?
No, it's just literally looks like this. It's a little square thing that you're supposed to clip onto your shirt, and you just live with it. Basically, their proposition was that rather than looking at your phone and missing the world and everything like that, just have this thing.
Wow.
And it was founded by two people who were legacy Apple people. Like the guy was, I think, a designer, and the woman was the market. I can't remember exactly what their terms were, but my guess is they've made quite a bit of money. Because they were in Apple very early on and whatnot. There's a huge TED talk that the guy did. He's making the sale about why this company called Humane is. And I watched the thing. Mm-hmm. I watched the whole marketing, like the pre-sale and everything. And I just kept talking to my wife and talking to my kid. I'm like, this is going nowhere. Exactly zero, right?
Oh wow.
Because the market doesn't want it. The market's either not ready for it or doesn't want it.
Yeah.
I just read an article yesterday that said they have sold, so they launched, maybe 6 months ago or whatever. They've sold a total of 9,000 units.
Oh, wow.
8,000 have been returned.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're just, there's no one really figured out product market fit. I think this idea came from a super, super crazy little bubble inside Silicon Valley. And there was this thought that, hey, people want to wear AI technology and, here's the one dummy question that I think nobody ever asked them. and because they had all this great marketing about people wearing these things and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, imagine going to a Taylor Swift concert. Can you imagine 50,000 people showing up to a stadium and all of them are wearing this thing? There is no scenario where I can ever picture that happening. Right? Not only are people going to be uncomfortable about it, but could you imagine a moment where all that? No, there's just no. But they all brought their phones.
Yes.
Right? They all brought their phones.
And the bracelets.
And and so, but you put them in your pocket, or it's this hidden individual device. But that thing is like, maybe that's 10 years in the future. We're all going to be wearing a thing that just does that, but they didn't think through just the normal practicality of what people have. Right. So anyway, you were saying about how do businesses fail? Yeah. That is a business that has hundreds of millions of dollars that have been invested in it. Poof. Poof.
Yeah, I feel like coming up with new ideas, you have to test it. Before you even invest a little bit of money on that, you can most likely put up some ads and see if there's interest, right? Mm-hmm. Get people signed up for it. I see some wearables like what Meta is doing with Ray-Ban. I think that's cool. I think
with the glasses.
I think integrating AI to existing products. Is cool.
Actually, I saw some. So we were in London this year.
Yeah.
And we went to the Tower of London where you can see the crown jewels. Mm-hmm. And we actually watched a guy get not ushered out, but very much harshly chided by one of the guards in the tower because he put on his AI. He put on his Meta glasses and he was taking. You're not allowed to take pictures in there.
Right.
And they saw the little light come on and they were like, "Hey, you can't." It's just really funny. Like, and I'm just like, it's very interesting. So they're there. I agree. Yeah. There are things. But another classic example is Jeff Bezos and Amazon and the Segway. You know what the Segway is,
yeah,
right?
of course.
And that was a huge launch. Huge launch.
Yeah.
And really, what is it used for? It's used for tour groups in downtown city places, or mall cops. You know what I mean? Like
agree.
This is like the next mode of the mode of transportation for the future. Not really.
My brother had one of those. Never used it. Yeah. So I mean, it was a fun gadget, of course. Yeah. But I'd rather go out on a bike, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. It needs to be tested. The product, the market fit is a very important part of building the business. Like making sure that what you're selling has proper validation.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find your business model, and how does it work? Is it a subscription model? Is it a free?
For message design for the new.
Yes.
So I've built this business, and I'm launching it because, as I said, over the last year, I've been working on an online platform, an online learning platform, where most of the people who come into the platform are individual coaches, right? And those individual coaches are looking to put their courses online, and quite frankly, I've just listened to them, right? And I've watched them sign up for the service, start the service, and then fail because they either can't figure out the technology, it's too complicated. They're not. They don't have the content ready, and have someone coaching them through how to build content quickly and efficiently.
Right.
They're not willing to sort of pivot and go from just sort of a rough video and then polish it over time and and refine things. There's just so many things, and so I see an opportunity for a service that says, look, we'll take care of that 90% of stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah.
You focus on being an awesome coach, having a great idea, and building basically some training videos. We take care of the rest. So that's I see the problem, right? And now it's a matter of just reaching those
I wonder if maybe this happened to you as well. So to speak, maybe. Like,
you mean in terms of building an online course and not being able to do it successfully?
No, more like you as a coach wanting to put out a product and realizing on the way that other people were struggling with some of the struggles that you naturally faced. Right?
I've been looking to do something like this project for a very long time. I like I said, working with humans and working with other people to lift them up and help not solve their problem, but help them refine their answers to their problems. Right? That's what this service is all about. That's just I really thrive in that space, and so I've been looking for a way to do this, and now all of the parts of my universe in terms of my technology background, the online education background, digital marketing, et cetera, they all kind of just all the puzzle pieces fit together, and that's why it just feels right, So I know that I'm going to have to pivot, and I'm going to have to continue to grow, but. Well, let's see what happens. Well, you said I want to answer your question about what the model is.
Right.
Right. Our model is it's a one-time fee for the 6-part funnel that we built, and I call it a learning ladder. Right. And so it's a one-time fee, but we have a guarantee. The fun thing is that we have a money-back guarantee, and I have 150% money-back guarantee.
Oh,
that's
wow.
how confident I am in what I've built and the process that I have.
That's bold.
If we don't deliver it in the time frame, there's 2 packages, right? One's a 90-day package, one's a 6-month package, or a 180-day package. If we don't deliver it in that time frame, I give you 150% of your money back.
Beautiful.
And so so I'm very excited. That's how confident I am in what we're building. So
sounds awesome. I'm sure it'll be successful.
I hope so.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we end this episode? It's been really fun. What do you want to share with our audience today? Any special thoughts? Any final thoughts?
One of the things is that there is so much out there right now about the side hustle and the get rich, the people who've gotten rich, or I don't know about you, but it comes into either my news feed or my Instagram feed or whatever all the time. It's just like, hey, I've cracked the code on how to make $1 million next week. And here's how you get a million followers tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 answers. One is you've either spent an extraordinary amount of money to get it, or 2, you've put in the really hard work over a long time to get there.
Right. And
it's funny, this is a message that has been, for as long as business has been a thing, it's just like there's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's nothing gets you there other than putting in the time, the effort, and the hard work. Now,
true.
If you put those things in, sometimes what they call a hockey stick does happen, right? Where it's like you've got this great idea, then it takes off and it grows. But all of that effort to get to that hockey stick, that's the thing.
Well, I had a boss. He used to say, drive determination, and no dead ends. So if you hit a dead end, make sure you step out of it, right?
That's a great one. I love that. You should definitely put that on the wall, right? I mean, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Show up every day, right? So determination, drive, make sure you've got the energy that you're coming with it. And then no dead ends is like any time that you come up with a problem that you think is an issue or doesn't look like you can solve it, like find a way to solve it. And that could mean you've got to change your product entirely. You've got to change your service entirely. You've got to recreate your business. It's happened, there's any number of things. Again, going back to Jeff Bezos, he thought he was going to sell books online.
He made it, right?
Right. So, there you go.
Well, Stephen Ladek, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
This was brought to you by Godspeed Media, and we really hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, man. Awesome.
All right.